Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today because you're actually stepping away from our usual charts and graphs to dissect something completely different but totally captivating. We are diving deep into a chilling campfire story straight from the village of Govindpur. It's this incredible tale that perfectly blends spine-tingling folklore with a really profound moral lesson. We're going to break down this eerie narrative, look at the psychology of the characters, and uncover some forgotten wisdom that's hiding in the dark. So go ahead and pull up a chair, get comfortable, and let's step into the shadows. Picture this. It's a freezing, foggy night. The winter air is so sharp, it honestly feels like you're breathing in ice. Out of the mist steps an elder named Mohan Kaka, and he just drops this incredibly heavy piece of wisdom on a group of young men. When time and experience speak, the listener becomes completely silent. That is our hook right there. It's a chilling reminder that no matter how modern or fearless we might think we are, the raw weight of lived experience demands absolute respect. Okay, let's really set the scene because the atmosphere is absolutely everything here. Outside in Govindpur, it's biting cold. It's secretive, wrapped in this heavy, almost unnatural darkness caused by the evening power cuts. But on the flip side, inside Bola's tea stall, there's a roaring bonfire, a warm glow, and plenty of lively chatter. But here's the thing. Even in that warmth, the source material points out this unspoken fear looming over them as the night deepens. And honestly, it validates exactly what you or I might feel in that situation, right? That creeping suspicion that maybe, just maybe, the dark isn't quite as empty as we tell ourselves. So, sitting around that warm bonfire are three young guys, Ankit, Sumit, and Vishal, and they really act as our skeptical stand-ins. They represent our modern mindset, they're complaining about the cold, they're blaming the electricity department for the darkness, and they are outright mocking the local folklore. Ankit even laughs it off, basically calling ghost stories mere time pass for the elderly. They challenge Mohan Kaka, demanding he tell them a story that actually truly happened. They want hard proof. Part 1. The Inner Frame. A 40-year-old nightmare. Well, Mohan Kaka accepts their challenge, and he takes us back exactly 40 years to the pitch-black night of Kartik Amavasya. That is the absolute darkest new moon night of the year. This is a literal nightmare he lived through when he was a strong, fearless, and incredibly arrogant 25-year-old guy. Let's trace how this disaster unfolds. Step 1. Mohan leaves the city on his bullock cart, full of youthful arrogance, just eager to get home. Step 2. To save some time, he takes a shortcut and enters the notorious ghostly forest path. Step 3. He spots a mystic and completely ignores him. Step 4. He gets caught in a violent, sudden storm. And finally, Step 5. In absolute desperation, he seeks shelter in a ruined mansion. With every single step on this timeline, Mohan's choices are sealing his fate tighter and tighter. You can almost feel the heartbeat quickening as he pushes deeper into the unknown. Now, let's just pause on step 3 for a second, because we really need to define exactly who young Mohan ignored. He encountered an Aghori Baba sitting under a banyan tree. In this cultural context, an Aghori is a mystic ascetic who is deeply connected to primal spiritual energies. They're known to meditate in these desolate, haunting places. And the text describes this Baba as sitting perfectly still in the freezing cold, but with eyes glowing like burning coals. Yet fueled by all that city pride and youthful arrogance, Mohan just completely brushes off this powerful figure's piercing gaze, dismissing him as a madman. And wow, is that a fatal mistake? The consequences of that arrogance hit him instantly. The weather violently turns. And we are just talking about a little drizzle here. We are talking about howling, ear-piercing winds, a freezing downpour, and a cold so paralyzing that Mohan's hands go entirely numb. And perhaps the most terrifying detail of all, his strong, reliable bullocks freeze in pure, unadulterated terror. They absolutely refuse to take a single step further into the dark. The sheer arrogance of youth is instantly crushed by the violent, unforgiving forces of nature. Desperate to survive the storm, Mohan abandons his cart and runs into a nearby ruin. It's an old Zamindar Haveli, which is an abandoned landlord's mansion. But the second he steps inside, he doesn't find a sanctuary. He finds a tomb. The source text explicitly describes this suffocating stench of rotting wood and an unnatural, dead silence where even the sound of the raging storm outside just seems to vanish. He lights a tiny fire in the corner, hoping for some safety, but those dancing shadows only make the ruin feel even more sinister. And then, the silence breaks. But not with the wind. It breaks with these strange, creeping noises coming from the very walls and the ground beneath him. His heart is pounding, but Mohan manages to stand up. His voice is trembling as he calls out into the dark. "Who is there?" What answers him is a Nar Pishok. Now, in local folklore, this is not just your generic ghost. A Nar Pishok is a highly feared, flesh-eating demon. It's a dark entity that literally feeds on human life force and raw terror. So by wandering into this abandoned ruin on the darkest night of the year, Mohan hasn't found shelter. He has literally walked directly onto a predator's dinner plate. The source describes this materialization so vividly, it's like a procedural nightmare. Step 1. In the dim firelight, a thick balloon of smoke starts to gather midair. Step 2. The smoke expands, and it takes the shape of this giant, floating human figure whose feet don't even touch the ground. Step 3. A horrifying face is revealed. Half of it is completely soaked in blood, with pitch-black eyes. And Step 4. As the fire actually begins to die from the sheer cold of its presence, the entity reaches out with a rotting hand directly toward Mohan's neck. I mean, just imagine that level of absolute paralyzing terror. Every single ounce of Mohan's youthful bravery just evaporates. His body goes completely numb. He can't run. He can't even scream. As that rotting hand closes in, Mohan accepts that this is his final night on Earth. In a deeply, deeply human moment, he simply shuts his eyes, surrenders, and thinks of his mother. It's his final, desperate comfort in the face of imminent death. The whole pacing of his life just slows down to a near halt. And then, boom, stop, flesh-eating demon, or else. A voice like roaring thunder completely shatters the suffocating tension. Mohan's eyes snap open, and standing right at the doorway of the ruins is none other than the Aghori Baba, the exact same mystic Mohan had arrogantly ignored earlier that night. What happens next is an explosive, visually stunning resolution. The Baba doesn't just politely ask the demon to leave. He enters the room radiating this divine, glowing energy. He's wielding iron tongs. He's chanting mantras with a voice louder than a lightning strike. And in the climax of the confrontation, the Baba throws holy water onto the shadow. And get this, the source notes that the water acts exactly like acid upon contact. The demon lets out this blood-curdling scream, retreats, and vanishes entirely into thin air. Overwhelmed, Mohan just collapses, fainting from the sheer shock of it all. And when he finally comes to, the Aghori imparts this really harsh, crucial truth. He says, "Arrogance blinds humans. Your death was following you, so I followed you." The mystic knew exactly what was hunting the arrogant boy. If he hadn't followed him, Mohan would have been consumed. So, in the end, the sheer, unfiltered experience of near death became Mohan's greatest, most humbling teacher. Part 2. The Return. Silence at the tea stall. So now we are back in the present day at Bola's tea stall. That roaring bonfire has died down to glowing embers, and all that lively, argumentative chatter from the beginning, completely gone. There is a pin-drop silence. I mean, just compare Ankit at the start of the night to Ankit right now. At the start, he was loud, highly skeptical, mocking ghosts as silly time pass. And at the end, he is literally sweating in the freezing cold. He is terrified, just staring out into the dark, heavy fog and dead silence. Mohan Kaka's authentic live nightmare has utterly dismantled their modern scientific arrogance. The final lesson etched into the minds of those boys, and really for all of us exploring this explainer, is beautifully simple but so profound. Every darkness hides a secret. The folklore, the warnings, the stories of our elders, they are rarely just stories made up to pass the time. They are often survival guides. They're wrapped in narrative, forged from terrifying real-world encounters that we are simply too modern or maybe just too arrogant to recognize. Which leaves us with a rather haunting thought to wrap things up today. Think about the next time you find yourself alone on a freezing, pitch-black night. When you hear an unexpected rustle in the dark, or you see a shadow move right where it shouldn't, will you arrogantly keep running? Or will you finally stop, stay completely silent, and listen to what the dark is trying to tell you? Thank you so much for exploring this chilling tale with me today. Stay curious, stay humble, and I will see you in the next